Welcome, my friends, to another day of journeying through the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever found yourself with a shopping cart that just refuses to go straight? You're aiming for the cereal aisle, but it's veering off towards the canned beans like it's got a mind of its own. That's pretty much how our thoughts can behave sometimes, wild, unruly, and completely off course. But what if I told you that, like taming that wonky shopping cart, you could take the reins and control your wayward thoughts? Today, we're diving into the Stoic philosophy and unraveling the secrets to mastering your mind. And as we embark on this enlightening path together, remember, if you find value in what we're about to uncover, show some love by hitting that like button. Subscribe to stay updated on all our philosophical adventures, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on a chance to grow wiser. Grab your notepad, a calming beverage, and let's get ready to steer our internal carts down the aisle of mental mastery. Stoic style. The Stoic's toolbox is akin to a trusty set of instruments that can fine-tune your mind the way a mechanic would a high-performance engine. One of these core tenets, a real cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, is the idea that it's not the things happening around us that disturb our peace, but rather our opinions about them. Imagine your mind as a sky, and your thoughts as weather patterns drifting across it. Sure, storm clouds can roll in, but the sky itself remains unchanged, vast, and infinitely serene. You have the power to observe those thoughts, those clouds of worry or gusts of anger, without letting them define the blue expanse of your mind. Another crucial tool in the Stoics' kit is understanding what's within our control and what's not. Think of it as gardening. You can plant the seeds, water them, and pull out the weeds, but you can't force the sun to shine or the plants to grow. Similarly, we can sow the seeds of good intentions and nurture them with positive actions, but ultimately, we can't control the outcomes or the actions of others. The beauty lies in realizing that while we can't direct the wind, we can always adjust our sails. And let's not forget about the practice of reflection and preparation. The Stoics were big on journaling as a way to train the mind. Consider it like writing a script for a play in which you're the actor, director, and audience all at once. By reflecting on your day, scripting your responses to events, and rehearsing your lines, you begin to master the performance of life. You're no longer improvising wildly, you're delivering your best lines with intention and clarity. So, as we venture further into the realm of Stoicism, bear in mind these tools. They're your mental Swiss Army knife, ready to carve out peace and fortitude in the fabric of your daily life. With these concepts in our Stoics toolbox, we're well on our way to controlling our minds and not just reacting to the world, but engaging with it purposefully. Stay with me as we continue this journey, because coming up next, we're going to put these principles into practice, turning theory into transformative action. And speaking of action, if you're finding this content helpful, consider sharing this video with someone who might also benefit from a little Stoic wisdom in their life. Now, let's get our mental gears oiled and ready for some real mind mastery. The second practice involves recognizing the line between what we can control and what lies beyond our reach. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're at a family barbecue and your uncle, who thinks he has superpowers, stands in the middle of the yard, arms outstretched, trying to control the weather. The family watches, half amused, half bewildered, as he grunts and groans, attempting to part the clouds with the sheer force of his will. "I command thee, clouds, disperse!" he shouts, but the sky, oblivious to his demands, decides to open up and pour rain on your parade. You see, as comical as it might look, it's a perfect metaphor for the Stoics' view on control. We often stress over scenarios we simply can't change, much like my fictional uncle trying to play weather god at the barbecue. Stoicism reminds us to be like the rest of the family, to take out the umbrellas, move the party indoors, and find joy in the moment rather than futilely trying to dictate the uncontrollable. In line with this, Stoics propose a simple yet powerful dichotomy. Concern yourself only with what's in your power and accept what is not. Your effort, your behavior, your attitude. These are under your command. The traffic jam, the delayed flight, or the opinions of others. Not so much. It's like trying to teach a cat to fetch. It might be entertaining to try, but it'll likely end in frustration and one very confused cat. So how do we put this into action? Start with small steps. The next time you're stuck in a situation that's out of your hands, Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is my uncle at the barbecue routine really going to change anything? If the answer is no, shift your focus to what you can control. Maybe it's using the extra time in the traffic jam to listen to a podcast, or taking a delay at the airport as a chance to catch up on some reading. Remember, frustration arises not from the situation itself, but from our insistence that it should be otherwise. The Stoic finds strength in accepting the natural course of events and redirecting their efforts to where they can truly make a difference. It's a liberating and empowering way to live, and with practice, you'll find your internal weather becoming calmer, regardless of the storms that rage on outside. Before we move on to our next segment, pause for a moment. Consider the uncle at the barbecue and the cat that won't fetch. Let these humorous images remind you of the serenity that comes with knowing what's truly under your control. Laugh at the absurdity, and then, with a smile, choose to act in a way that reflects the depth and wisdom of Stoic teachings. And now, if you're gearing up to embrace the Stoic approach to control, hit that like button as a sign of readiness. Share your weather, controlling attempts or cat training fiascos in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've applied this practice in your life. Alright, my philosophical companions, it's time to delve into the next transformative Stoic principle. Stay tuned. The third practice in our journey through Stoicism brings us to the power of perception. Imagine looking at one of those optical illusions. You know, the ones where it's either an old lady or a young woman, or a rabbit and a duck, all depending on how you squint. What's fascinating here is that nothing about the image itself changes, only your perception of it. In much the same way, Stoics view perception as the starting block in the race to control the mind. The philosophy teaches us that our impressions, those initial thoughts that jump into our head when something happens, aren't facts. They're interpretations, as malleable as the images in an optical illusion. When we really grasp this, we unlock an immense power, the power to choose our response rather than getting swept away by first impressions. Consider this scenario. You spill coffee on your white shirt right before an important meeting. Instantly, your mind might flash a perception that's drenched in negativity, predicting doom for your day. But wait, let's twist that perception like we're turning the image of the rabbit to see the duck. Instead of a ruined shirt, you could see an opportunity to demonstrate grace under pressure, to showcase your adaptability by finding a quick solution, or even just to share a laugh with colleagues about the perils of caffeine. This Stoic practice doesn't mean denying the reality of the spill. It's about recognizing that the impact it has on your day is colored by the lens through which you view it. By acknowledging that our perceptions can be as tricky as optical illusions, we begin to understand that we control the meaning we give to the events in our lives. And here's an actionable tip. The next time you catch yourself getting tangled in a negative perception, pause and consider the image of the optical illusion. Remind yourself that there might be another way to view the situation, another perspective just waiting to be discovered if only you shift your mental gaze. So, let's challenge ourselves. Let's play with our perceptions, explore the edges of our understanding, and remember that control starts not with what's outside of us, but with the internal narrative we weave. The power of perception is a key in the Stoics' toolbox, and when we master it, we find that we're not just responding to life, we're actively shaping it. If this insight on perception strikes a chord with you, why not give that like button a tap? It's the Stoic way to show appreciation after all. Share your experiences with perception in the comments. I'm eager to read how you've turned your rabbits into ducks and ducks into wisdom. Now, stay with me as we move forward to unveil more Stoic strategies that will empower you to sail through life's seas with a steady hand and a clear mind. The fourth practice in our Stoic voyage takes us to an intriguing concept, one that might initially seem counterintuitive: befriending the obstacle. Now, let's imagine for a moment that life's obstacles are not roadblocks, but rather mischievous friends who, albeit annoyingly, push us to grow. Picture a comical animation where our character, let's call him Alex, is on his way to work when a sprightly, animated roadblock springs up, grinning from ear to ear. Alex, rather than fuming with frustration, greets the roadblock like an old friend. "Ah, there you are. What lesson do you have for me today?" he asks. The roadblock, with a playful chuckle, morphs into a staircase leading upwards. It was never there to stop Alex. It simply redirected him towards a new, elevated path. This, dear viewers, is the essence of what Stoics refer to as the obstacle is the way. Rather than viewing difficulties as hindrances, they teach us to embrace them as opportunities to exercise our virtues like resilience and creativity. Think of it as a workout for your character. Each obstacle is a weight that strengthens you. Each challenge a sprint that increases your stamina. So how can you befriend the inevitable obstacles in your life? Start by acknowledging them, not with dread, but with an open heart and a curious mind. When faced with a setback, don't just ask why me. Instead, inquire what can I gain from this? Perhaps it's patience from the slow-moving line at the grocery store or ingenuity from finding a solution to a work problem that seemed insurmountable. Remember, every obstacle carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Like Alex and his animated roadblock, the Stoic sees a hidden staircase in every stumbling block, an escalator in every pitfall, beckoning them towards personal growth and wisdom. As you watch this video, I want you to think of a recent obstacle you faced. Did it seem like a pesky roadblock at the time? Now, with a dash of humor and a sprinkle of Stoic insight, can you see it as a quirky friend that brought you an unexpected gift? Share your stories in the comments. We could all use a good laugh and a dose of inspiration. And if you're starting to appreciate these pesky friends for the lessons they bring, go ahead and show some love by smashing that like button. By doing so, you'll not only support our channel, but you'll also cast a vote for embracing life's obstacles with a smile. Stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled for our next Stoic practice, as we continue to explore the timeless wisdom that can unleash your inner strength and transform your everyday experiences. The fifth practice in our exploration of Stoicism introduces us to the realm of emotional intelligence, Stoic style. Picture your emotions like a cast of characters in your favorite sitcom. There's anger, often overreacting to minor annoyances, sadness, who can be a bit of a drama queen, and then there's joy, always looking on the bright side. Just like a well-written sitcom, your emotional life can be a mix of highs and lows, laughter and tears, but always with an undercurrent of growth and learning. In Stoicism, emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about directing them in a way that serves you. Think of yourself as the showrunner of your internal sitcom. You can't always control what plot twists life throws at your characters, but you can certainly guide how they respond to them. Let's say you're in a situation that's got your character anger ready to march to center stage and throw a comedic tantrum. In the Stoic script, however, we might instead write a scene where anger takes a deep breath, steps back, and allows reason to check the script for a more level-headed response. It's not about denying anger a role in the show. It's about preventing it from hogging the limelight and turning the whole episode into a farce. Emotional intelligence, Stoic style, asks you to recognize your emotions as natural, but to cast them intentionally. Sadness might want to sob uncontrollably when things don't go your way, but perhaps we give the line to acceptance, who gently reminds sadness that this plot twist is just part of the character arc and personal growth is on the horizon. Here's a practical take for our viewers. The next time you feel an emotional scene brewing, visualize your internal cast. Who's the right character for this scene? Which emotion can deliver the line with grace, humor, or wisdom? Perhaps you'll find that joy has a knack for improvisation that can turn a scene on its head, or that curiosity has a way of questioning the plot that leads to unexpected, delightful outcomes. Emotional intelligence is about more than just feeling. It's about thoughtful, emotional casting and directing, ensuring that each episode of your life, no matter how dramatic, is crafted with intention and poise. So, fellow Stoicism enthusiasts, if you've enjoyed today's script on the art of directing your emotions Stoic style, show your support by giving that like button a cheer. Drop a comment describing how you've cast your emotions in a tricky episode recently. Your story might just be the pilot episode for someone else's journey to emotional mastery. Keep your remote handy because we're not done yet. In our next segment, we're going to continue building our Stoic story, layering in more practices to help you navigate life's narrative with confidence and calm. Stay tuned, and remember, in the sitcom of life, you're not just the audience, you're the director. The sixth practice takes us behind the scenes of our mental sitcom to introduce a powerful directing tool, The pause button. Imagine you're in a typical morning rush. The coffee is brewing, the toast is toasting, and then suddenly, everything freezes. It's like someone hit the pause button on your life's remote control. You're standing there mid-stride, with a half-tied shoelace and a piece of toast hanging comically from your mouth. This is the moment the Stoics want us to master, the art of the pause. In a world where we often feel like we're on fast forward, the Stoic philosophy encourages us to find the pause button and use it liberally. It's the space between stimulus and response, where we have the power to choose, to reflect, and to respond with intention rather than knee-jerk reactions. Let's bring this to life with a relatable scenario. You're driving to work and someone cuts you off. The impulse to honk, gesture, or shout is immediate. But what if, in that split second, you hit the mental pause button? The world goes silent, your hand freezes mid-honk, and you're given the gift of a moment to consider whether the automatic response will improve the situation or simply raise your blood pressure. Here's where the Stoic wisdom shines. It tells us that in the pause lies our freedom. We can decide to take a deep breath, to smile at life's little absurdities, and to continue our drive with peace rather than frustration. After all, the person who cut you off is already zooming away, oblivious to your plight, so why give them free rent in your head? The pause button practice is simple in theory, but like any good director knows, timing is everything. Here's a quick tip for our viewers looking to incorporate this into their daily lives. Start small. Try pausing before replying to a text that irked you or freezing frame right before you're about to devour that impulsively grabbed chocolate bar. The benefits of mastering the pause button are immense. It allows for better decision-making, it keeps you aligned with your values, and it might even save you from a few embarrassing moments that would make for a very special episode in your life's sitcom. So go ahead, my friends, hit the like button. As a sign of your commitment to practicing the art of the pause, share your own freeze-frame moments in the comments below. I bet we could all use a good chuckle, and your story might just inspire someone to find their own pause button in a moment of need. As we release the pause and let life resume its pace, remember that you now hold a secret remote that can transform any scene from chaos to comedy, from drama to documentary. Keep watching, because in our next segment, we'll introduce yet another Stoic practice that will turn your everyday life into an award-winning performance. Stay tuned, and in the meantime, keep practicing that pause with the flair of a seasoned director. The seventh practice on our Stoic journey is understanding the subtle art of wisdom's whisper. Imagine you have an inner Stoic sage, a wise mentor who's been with you all along, quietly observing from the wings. It's like having your own Yoda or Mr. Miyagi, imparting ancient wisdom right when you need it most. Except this mentor doesn't just live in a galaxy far, far away or a dojo. They reside within your own mind, ready to guide you through the toughest of choices with a whisper of wisdom. Let's set the scene for a comedic skit that plays out in your everyday life. You're at a restaurant, and after a meal that would make Epicurus himself nod in approval, you see the dessert menu. Your inner glutton, a character we'll call Sweet Tooth, starts salivating over the triple chocolate lava cake. But just as you're about to succumb, there's a faint whisper in your ear. Is this the choice of a Stoic sage? Cue the laugh track as you glance around, only to realize it's your inner Stoic mentor speaking. This sage, let's name them Verbos, is the embodiment of Stoic wisdom, cloaked in a robe, beard flowing with an uncanny resemblance to the wise philosophers of ancient busts. Verbos speaks again. Remember, indulgence in moderation. Now, the skit gets even funnier because Sweet Tooth is visibly annoyed, rolling their eyes as Verbos gently encourages you to consider the virtues of self-restraint and long-term satisfaction over immediate gratification. In a humorous exchange, Sweet Tooth tries to argue that life is short, eat the cake. However, Verbos remains unflappable, offering a knowing smile and a compelling argument for the joy found in self-discipline. The skit ends with you opting for a fruit plate instead, acknowledging the role of the sage's guiding whispers and Sweet Tooth sulking in the background, only to be consoled by Verbos with a wise quip about the sweetness of a clear conscience being the best dessert. This comedic portrayal reminds us that within each of us is an inner Stoic capable of guiding us to make the right choices. Wisdom's whisper is not about denying ourselves pleasures, but about being mindful of our decisions, weighing them against our values and the wisdom of moderation. If you enjoyed this mental skit of Wisdom's whisper, go ahead and let your light resonate like the sage's guidance by clicking that like button below. Share your own internal comedic battles in the comments. Maybe it's not a lava cake but another siren call of temptation you faced. By sharing, we can all take a leaf from each other's books on how to listen to our own verbos in times of need. Stick with us as we continue unveiling the Stoic practices that will help you craft a life of purpose and self-mastery. In our next episode, we'll dive into another practice that is essential to the Stoics' way of life. And until then, remember to listen closely for the whisper of wisdom that echoes in every choice you make. The eighth practice in our Stoic saga is about mastering the art of indifference. Picture yourself at an all-you-can-eat buffet, surrounded by endless rows of delicious dishes, each one more tempting than the last. This buffet, my friends, isn't just a feast for the stomach. It's a feast for thought, a culinary metaphor for life's myriad choices and our reactions to them. Now, imagine a Stoic at this buffet, walking past the sizzling steaks and aromatic curries with the calm detachment of a monk in meditation. For our Stoic diner, each dish represents the external things in life: wealth, fame, pleasures, pains, all of which are regarded with a healthy dose of indifference. It's not that they don't see the value in a well-cooked lasagna or a perfectly seasoned pie. Rather, they understand that indulging or abstaining doesn't define their character. The true measure of a Stoic isn't found on their plate, but in their capacity to enjoy the meal without becoming a slave to their appetites. Contrast this with the average buffet. Contrast this with the average buffet goer, who might as well be wearing a t-shirt that says indulgence is my middle name. They pile their plate high, sampling a bit of everything and going back for seconds with the zeal of a kid in a candy store. To them, indifference would mean missing out, a lack of passion for the culinary arts, or simply not taking advantage of the bountiful spread before them. But here's where we juice this scenario with a squeeze of Stoic humor. What if we placed a Stoic philosopher, resplendent in his robes and beard, standing next to a buffet regular, both staring down a chocolate fountain? The Stoic might say, an interesting cascade of liquid temptation, but I shall pass, while the regular is already dipping strawberries in marshmallows as if preparing for winter hibernation. The art of indifference doesn't mean we can't enjoy the buffet of life. It suggests we approach it with discernment, selecting what aligns with our values, what nurtures our well-being, and what serves the greater good. For the Stoic, the buffet is a practice ground for the virtue of temperance, an opportunity to exercise choice with wisdom and restraint. So, let's take this humorous image with us, a Stoic philosopher side by side with a buffet enthusiast, and let it inspire us to approach life's offerings with intention and a hint of Stoic indifference. When we do, we find that the buffet of life isn't just about what we take. It's about the satisfaction derived from making composed and considered choices. If you're chuckling along and finding wisdom in the visual of a Stoic at a buffet, why not express your amusement and enlightenment with a like? Go ahead, it's the Stoic thing to do. And if you have any funny buffet encounters of your own, preferably ones where you channeled your inner Stoic, share them in the comments below. Keep your napkins tucked, your forks at the ready, and join us soon for the next delightful course in our banquet of Stoic practices. Until then, remember that the art of indifference is not about depriving ourselves, but about savoring life's flavors with moderation and poise. Stay tuned, and let's continue to dine with dignity and a splash of Stoic humor. The ninth practice in our Stoic escapade takes us to the bustling realm of social gatherings and the intricate dance of social Stoicism. Picture yourself at a lively party. The music is pumping, conversations are bubbling, and personalities of every shade are on full display. It's here that we enter a skit, one that will demonstrate the artful poise of Stoicism amidst the social whirlwind. Let's meet our characters. Marcus, our Stoic hero, a calm island in the storm of socialites, and Julia, the hostess with a penchant for gossip that could rival the Roman rumor mills. As we watch this comical scene unfold, Marcus is engaged by Julia, who's eager to spill the latest on everyone at the party. Amidst the laughter and clinking glasses, Marcus embodies social Stoicism, a tongue-in-cheek guide on navigating social terrain with stoic grace. Julia, fluttering her fan theatrically, leans in and whispers, "Did you hear about Lucius's latest fiasco?" The party buzzes on, unaware of the test this presents to our stoic friend. Marcus, channeling his inner sage, offers a benign smile. "Oh, I believe everyone's entitled to a misstep now and then." He then skillfully redirects the conversation to the virtues of forgiveness and growth. The crowd watches, some baffled, others amused, as Julia's sails deflate without wind for her gossip. This playful exchange is a masterclass in social stoicism, where Marcus demonstrates role-play demonstrations with the elegance of a philosopher. Gliding through a forum, he doesn't confront or scorn, but instead flows with the social current, steering it with gentle nudges of wisdom and good humor. Our viewers, as you navigate your own social symposiums, consider the comedic elegance of Marcus. When faced with the Julias of your world, remember that social stoicism isn't about being aloof or disengaged. It's about engaging with charm, disarming with laughter, and maintaining your philosophical cool. It's about choosing not to add fuel to the fire of drama, but instead quench it with a well-placed quip or an offer to refill their drink. Here's a tip from the Stoics' social playbook. The next time you find yourself cornered by a juicy piece of gossip, try a bit of role-play. Become Marcus for a moment, and with a twinkle in your eye, turn the tides with tact and wit. Maybe you'll find that humor and light deflection can transform potential discord into an engaging and uplifting exchange. If you're enjoying this light-hearted look at social stoicism, go ahead and hit that like button with the charm of a stoic. At a soiree, share your own amusing anecdotes of social situations where you've employed a bit of stoic savvy in the comments. It might just become the talk of the party. So pour yourself another metaphorical glass of stoic punch and prepare for our next segment, where we'll continue to unravel the elaborate tapestry of stoic practices. Join us as we add more stitches of wisdom and humor to our social fabric, ensuring that every interaction is as much a boost to your spirit as it is a delightful chapter in your book of life. Stay tuned, for the story of social stoicism has many more scenes to play out. The 10th practice in our Stoic saga spotlights the theme of cultivating stoic resilience. Now picture yourself in the middle of a forest, a setting straight out of a survival reality show. You're surrounded by trees so tall they seem intent on tickling the clouds. The air is laced with the smell of pine and adventure. It's the perfect backdrop for an amusing tale of stoic resilience. Here we have our protagonist, let's call him Felix, a modern-day stoic castaway whose only tools are a compass of stoic wisdom and a backpack filled with good humor. The first challenge he faces is the classic shelter-building contest against Mother Nature. As Felix surveys the forest, he doesn't frown at the expanse of wilderness. Instead, he cracks a joke. "Well, if the trees can stand tall without complaint, it's only polite that I do the same." With that, he sets to work. He builds not just a shelter but a tidy little abode that would make a beaver proud. Now this is where the essence of stoic resilience shines. Felix doesn't bemoan the lack of tools or the abundance of mosquitoes. He embraces the challenge, knowing that every fallen branch or mischievous squirrel is an opportunity to grow stronger in his stoic virtues. Let's fast forward to a scene where Felix must start a fire. He's got no matches, only his wits and a couple of stones that seem to have whispered, "Good luck." Hours pass. The sun begins to dip below the treetops, casting a golden glow on his determined face. Our stoic survivor finally sparks a flame and chuckles. See, even when life tries to give you the cold shoulder, a bit of perseverance can warm things right up. This is how we cultivate resilience, stoic style. It's about seeing the humor in adversity and treating life's trials as though they're just the universe's way of spicing up the plot. Resilience isn't about gloomily grinding through hardships. It's about navigating them with a smile, a joke, or even a shrug of playful indifference. For those watching, think of a challenging situation you've recently encountered. Now, add a pinch of Felix's spirit to it. Could you find a spark of humor in that flat tire on the way to work? Maybe, like Felix with his fire, you can view it as a chance to test your resourcefulness, battling the elements with nothing but a spare tire and the tenacity of a stoic. If this tale of cultivating stoic resilience has sparked a flame of inspiration in you, don't hesitate to flick that like button, as if it were a flintstone on your own journey of growth. Share your survival story with a twist of Stoic humor in the comments. It's these shared experiences that remind us we're all just players in nature's grand survival show. Now, don't set up camp just yet. There's more to our Stoic adventure. Up next, we'll venture even deeper into the forest of philosophy, unearthing more Stoic treasures that will help us endure, adapt, and ultimately thrive, no matter what the wilds of life may throw our way. Stay tuned, for the story of cultivating Stoic resilience is just getting started, and trust me, it's as entertaining as it is enlightening. The 11th practice in our Stoic Odyssey is all about letting go of the past, and to bring this to life, let's indulge in a bit of theater. Picture a stage set with the remnants of past scenes, a broken vase, a dusty trophy, an old love letter, symbols of grudges and regrets that haunt our Stoic protagonist, whom we'll call Antonius. Under the spotlight, Antonius steps forward, his face etched with the lines of bygone dramas. In an exaggerated theatrical soliloquy, Antonius addresses the audience. Behold the relics of my yesteryears. Each a whisper of a bygone quarrel, an echo of a faded cheer. He picks up the broken vase, a prop from a scene where harsh words were exchanged with a friend. With a flourish, he sets it down gently, declaring, "No more shall this ceramic shard pierce the tender flesh of my present peace." Antonius then turns to the dusty trophy, a memento of a competition where the thirst for victory soured the sweetness of camaraderie. He blows off the dust, a symbolic gesture, and proclaims, "This cup no longer overflows with the bitter wine of envy, but with the nectar of forgiveness." The audience watches, riveted by the performance, as Antonius places the trophy back on the shelf of memories, freed from its grip of resentment. Lastly, he takes the old love letter, a script of a romance that ended not with a bow, but with a twist. With a comedic twinge of sorrow, Antonius reads a line, "My dearest, our love was a play destined for an early curtain call." He then folds the letter delicately, placing it in a box marked Lessons Learned, a chuckle escaping him as he muses, "For what are old flames if not the kindle for new wisdom?" This reenactment, brimming with melodrama and self-deprecating wit, illustrates the Stoic approach to letting go of the past. It's not about burying or denying history, but about performing an artful release of its grip on our psyche. By acknowledging the past with a blend of seriousness and levity, we free ourselves to fully embrace the present. So, my fellow Stoics in training, if Antonius's performance has inspired you to conduct your own theatrical release of the past, why not acknowledge it with a hearty thumbs up? Share the scenes you've chosen to close the curtain on in the comments below. Your narrative might just be the encore someone else needs to hear. As the applause fades and the stage is cleared for the next act, remember that the past, while a crucial part of our story, is not the play we're currently performing. In our upcoming segments, we'll continue to unveil Stoic practices that enable us to live in the now, with hearts unburdened by yesterday and minds focused on the art of today. Stay tuned, for the act of letting go of the past is but one scene in the grand production of a Stoic life well lived. The 12th practice in our Stoic exploration shifts the spotlight to mind control in action, merging the intrigue of culture with the practical exercises of Stoicism. Now, let's cue a montage of iconic mind control scenes from movies and television. Picture Neo in The Matrix, mastering his mind to bend the virtual reality of the Matrix, or Professor X from X-Men, sitting at his cerebro, reaching out across the globe with just the power of thought. Even consider Star Wars, where Jedi Knights wield mental prowess to move objects, persuade the weak-minded, and even foresee the future. These moments captivate us with the sheer wonder of what it would mean to have such control over our own minds. But let's bring it back to reality, the Stoic reality, to be exact. No, we can't dodge bullets in slow motion or lift starships with a thought. But we can exercise control over our minds in ways that are just as profound, albeit less cinematic. The practical exercises of Stoicism are about fine-tuning the mind's responses to the world. Like Neo learning Kung Fu through mental uploads, we too can upload Stoic wisdom and train our minds. The practice is simple yet impactful. Begin by embedding the Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, into your daily thought patterns. Just as Professor X calibrates Cerebro, Calibrate your mind to align with these virtues. Here's how you might see this in action. Imagine yourself in a stressful work meeting. The tension in the room is as thick as the fog on Dagobah. Instead of reacting with frustration or fear, channel your inner Yoda. Take a moment to withdraw into your mental fortress, taking a deep breath. Then, engage with the situation with a Jedi's calm, responding not with emotion, but with reasoned thought and clear, measured words. The Stoic exercises also include premeditation malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It's like running mental simulations of challenges you might face, much like Doctor Strange viewing possible futures to find the best outcome. Prepare your mind for potential setbacks by visualizing how you would apply Stoic principles to overcome them. This doesn't make the challenges any less real, but it does arm you with the mental readiness to tackle them with composure. And don't forget about voluntary discomfort. Occasionally step out of your comfort zone on purpose, like taking cold showers or waking up earlier than usual. It's akin to Batman enduring the harsh conditions of the League of Shadows, training to cultivate resilience. These intentional discomforts teach you that you can endure more than you think, and that external conditions don't have to dictate your internal state. So, my philosophical adventurers, as we delight in the fantasy of mind control in pop culture, let's also celebrate the real mind mastery we can achieve through Stoic practice. If you're ready to train your mind like the heroes and sages of the screen, give a thumbs up and share your own mind control achievements in the comments. Have you dodged the metaphorical bullets of life with a well-timed Stoic principle, or perhaps calmed a storm of stress with a Jedi-like serenity? Stay plugged in, because our next segment will reveal even more about the Stoic journey. We'll continue to weave together ancient wisdom and modern living, ensuring that the narrative of your life is directed with the skill of a master storyteller and the serenity of a Stoic sage. Keep practicing, and may the force of Stoicism be with you. The 13th session in our philosophical quest brings us to learning from nature through the lens of Stoicism. And what better way to absorb these teachings than with an endearing parody of a wildlife documentary? So, hike up your spirits, grab your imaginary binoculars, and let's embark on a journey into the great outdoors of wisdom. Cue the dramatic documentary voiceover. Here we are, deep in the verdant forest of life, where the Stoic observes the natural world and its inhabitants. Ah, look there. A family of beavers, nature's industrious engineers, crafting their lodges with a blend of teamwork and tenacity. As we watch these furry builders at work, let's ponder what Stoicism draws from such a scene. The beavers don't lament the fallen trees or the current's challenges. Instead, they adapt, overcome, and create. They teach us that obstacles can become the very materials with which we build our lives. A fitting reminder of the Stoic mantra, "The obstacle is the way." Now pan to a time lapse of a caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly. Behold the humble caterpillar, ensconced within its chrysalis, seemingly at the end of its journey, yet within its silk-bound confines, the mundane is revamped into the magnificent. This marvel of metamorphosis mirrors the Stoic belief that change and hardship can catalyze personal growth. It's not what happens to us, but what we become through it that counts. Next, our documentary shifts to a serene pond, where a lotus flower emerges pristine from the murky waters. Like the lotus, the Stoic rises above the mire of daily troubles, untainted by the mud of circumstance. The Stoic, much like this resplendent bloom, rises each day anew, unspoiled by yesterday's silt, and ready to face the sun with a clean slate. Our captivating parody wouldn't be complete without the humorous antics of the penguins, waddling and tumbling over each other. In these tuxedo-clad jesters of the South Pole, we find a Stoic lesson on social engagement. They remind us that, while life may cause us to slip and slide, it's in the coming together, the playful camaraderie, that we find balance and joy. As the mockumentary concludes, we're left to reflect on the rich lessons that Mother Nature imparts. From the beaver's resilience to the butterfly's reinvention, from the lotus's purity to the penguin's communal joy, each creature and plant offers a parable on how to live a Stoic life. My friends, if this whimsical walk through nature's Stoic classroom has inspired you, show your appreciation by giving that like button a nudge. I'd be thrilled to read in the comments which creature's Stoic hustle resonates with you the most. Stay tuned, because our narrative voyage is far from over. In our upcoming chapters, we'll keep intertwining the threads of Stoicism and the tapestry of life into teachings that not only inform, but also entertain. So keep your exploratory hats on and your minds open to the natural wisdom around you, and let's continue to draw insightful parallels from the world's greatest teacher, nature. As the sun peaks over the horizon, signaling the start of a new day, we find ourselves peering into the abode of our Stoic friend, Maximus Diligentus, whose name itself is a nod to his unyielding dedication to the Stoic lifestyle. Maximus, with the precision of a grandmaster chess player, begins his day not with the blaring of an alarm, but the crowing of a rooster. Yes, an actual rooster. Yes, an actual rooster, whom he has affectionately named Aurora. With a nod to the natural world, he rises with a philosophy as old as the rosy-fingered dawn itself. He commences his daily routine by making his bed with comical meticulousness, flattening every crease with more care than a sculptor chiseling marble. Why, you ask? It's his first victory of the day, a practice in discipline and order, setting the tone for a day ruled by reason and intention, not chaos and whim. Next, Maximus strides to his window, throws open the curtains, and in an overly dramatic bellow, fitting for the stage, greets the day with a quote from Marcus Aurelius: "The day has eyes, the night has ears," a reminder to himself that his every action is to be as clear as daylight, his every word as considered as the hushed tones of the night. With the morning chill still clinging to the air, he embarks on what he calls his heroic plunge, a cold shower that would have lesser mortals shivering in their sandals. Maximus bursts into operatic song, his voice echoing off the tiles as he embraces the cold with the fervor of a Viking warrior, turning his simple shower into an epic battle against comfort and complacency. Dressed now, in a tunic that is just a tad more austere than necessary, Maximus stands before a mirror, not to admire his reflection, but to engage in a bout of stoic staring. With the intensity of a hawk eyeing its prey, he peers into his soul, affirming to his reflection the virtues he shall embody: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, each virtue punctuated by a stoic nod, as if sealing a solemn pact with himself. At the breakfast table, he sits before a modest plate. Instead of devouring his meal, he lifts each forkful with the composure of a monk in meditation, chewing thoughtfully, as if ruminating on the impermanence of life with every bite of his oatmeal. His drink, ambrosia, no, plain water, sipped with the satisfaction of one who knows the value of simplicity. Then comes the piece de resistance of his morning, the reading of a Stoic verse, delivered with the gusto of an actor in the throes of a Shakespearean soliloquy. This recitation, performed to an audience of houseplants, is his spiritual caffeine, invigorating his mind and aligning his spirit with the Stoics of old. To cap off his morning ritual, Maximus bids adieu to his home plants and, with a serene yet comically grandiose wave, steps out the door. He ventures forth into the day like a gladiator entering the arena, prepared to meet fortune's whims with equanimity and a dash of theatrical flair. If the saga of Maximus Diligentus and his over-the-top Stoic morning routine has tickled your fancy, or inspired you to add a bit of pageantry to your own daily start, why not applaud with a click of that like button? And do share in the comments which part of his routine you might adopt, or embellish, for your own. Stay with us as we march on to the next chapter of our Stoic series, where we blend ancient wisdom with modern mirth, proving that the path to virtue need not be devoid of vibrant color and joyful laughter. The 15th practice in our Stoic theatrical underscores conquering fear, and to paint this portrait of bravery, we transpose Stoic fortitude onto the canvas of a horror film parody. So dim the lights, ready your popcorn, and prepare for a spoof that transforms terrors into triumphs with a wink and a nod to Stoic courage. Our film opens on a dark and stormy night at Camp Stoicus, where a group of campers huddle by the fire, telling ghost stories that chill the spine. Enter our protagonist, a plucky Stoic named Valerius Boldheart, who wears a smile as steady as his nerves. As each camper spins a tale of spectral fears, Valerius leans in, eyes twinkling, ready to flip the script on fright. The first story conjures an ancient curse, a series of ominous events leading to inevitable doom. Yet, as the tension crescendos and the campers recoil in mock terror, Valerius stands and proclaims, But friends aren't curses, just life's way of offering us puzzles to solve. For every hex, there's a path to hexcellence. His playful pun elicits groans and giggles alike, but it's his refusal to cower before the so-called curse that lights a spark of bravery in his fellow campers. Next comes a tale of a masked villain, stalking the woods with the persistence of a shadow. Valerius, undeterred, turns to face the imaginary fiend and declares, "To the man behind the mask, I see your game of hide and scare. But know this, the only power you have over me is the power I grant you." With a flourish, he mimes lifting a mask, revealing not a face of horror, but a mirror in which the only thing reflected is his own calm demeanor. As each new story unfolds, Valerius parries with stoic humor, turning fears into mere stage props in the grand play of life. A haunted house becomes a fixer-upper challenge. An eerie portrait whose eyes follow you becomes a lesson in perspective. And a mysterious phantom is recast as an unexpected guest in need of a cup of hot cocoa and a dose of compassion. Our spoof crescendos with the appearance of the classic horror trope, the unexplained phone call. As the campers listen to the ring tense with anticipation, Valerius answers with an air of nonchalance. "You can't be serious," he quips to the caller. "If this is about my car's extended warranty, I assure you, I am fearlessly up to date." The tension breaks like a snapped guitar string, and laughter fills the camp. In the grand Stoic tradition, Valerius teaches that fear is but a figment of our imagination, a specter rendered powerless when met with reason and a hearty dose of courage. Conquering fear isn't about never feeling scared. It's about choosing not to dwell in the haunted houses of our minds, but to light them up with the understanding that we hold the keys to every door, the answers to every door, the answers to every riddle. If this playful jaunt through a horror film spoof has emboldened you to face your own fears with a Valerius-esque verve, then hit that like button as if it were the off switch to the fright machine. Share in the comments your stories of conquering fear, of turning your own boos to bravos, and how Stoicism has helped you laugh in the face of the ghastly ghouls of the mind. Join us for the next installment of our Stoic saga, where we'll continue to unravel the fearsome tapestry of trepidation, replacing each thread of terror with a strand of Stoic strength and laughter. Stay tuned, for in the school of Stoicism, every fear is but a lesson dressed in a costume, waiting to be unmasked at the grand masquerade of life. The 16th practice in our Stoic showcase brings us to the role of community, and to illustrate this communal chorus, we stage a mock reality TV episode, complete with confessional booths and larger-than-life characters, all to highlight the Stoics' view of support systems engaging in harmonious coexistence. So straighten your togas and ready the laurel wreaths, as we unveil the real Stoics of the Agora. Cue the upbeat theme music as we zoom in on the bustling marketplace of ancient Athens, or rather our modern reconstruction teeming with reality TV energy. Here we encounter our diverse cast of characters. Cato the Candid, always ready to spout some Stoic truths. Musonius Rufus, the life coach. And Epictetus the encourager, with his motivational quips. Each of them presents a facet of community life, dramatized for the home audience but steeped in the essence of Stoicism. In this episode, the task at hand is a communal feast. The camera pans over the agora as our cast gathers, each member bringing a dish to share. Cato arrives with olives and bread. Musonius brings a medley of legumes, while Epictetus contributes a hearty pot of lentil stew. The task is simple, yet it serves as a metaphor for the contribution we each make to the communities we inhabit. In true reality, TV fashion, we cut to a confessional with Cato. He glances into the camera. His eyes alight with a mischievous sparkle. In a well-structured community, he says, each individual brings their strengths to the table. Quite literally, in this case. He adds with a chuckle, of course, if your strengths happen to be in olive picking, all the better for the rest of us. Next, we see Musonius orchestrating the setup of the communal feast, assigning tasks with the precision of a general. You see, he confides in another confessional segment, the community is much like a symphony. Each role, each contribution, is vital. When in harmony, the result is nothing short of sublime. If someone plays out of tune, he winks. It's our job to guide them back with a gentle hand, not a reprimand. The festivities commence, with Epictetus offering words of wisdom between mouthfuls. Remember, friends, it is not the food that nourishes us today, but the company and the bonds we strengthen. As we pass the dishes, pass also the kindness, the encouragement, and the shared laughter. As the meal progresses, we witness the Stoic principles in action: cooperation, mutual respect, and the cultivation of relationships that enrich the soul. The camera captures laughter and lively debate, all underscored by a voiceover reminding viewers of the Stoic tenet that we are part of something greater than ourselves, that each of us is a thread in the fabric of society. As the sun sets on our mock reality TV episode, the concluding confessional belongs to Epictetus. "What a gathering," he exclaims, his face lit by the glow of the torches. In a community we find reflection, support, and the catalysts for growth. Through others we see ourselves, and in giving, we also receive. Truly, the real Stoics of the Agora know that the richest life is one shared. If this whimsical take on the Stoic perspective of community has struck a chord with you, display your camaraderie with a round of applause for that like button, and share in the comments below your own experiences of community and support, of feasts shared and friendships forged within the amphitheater of life. Stay with us as our Stoic series continues to unfold, turning the lens on the virtues that shape our collective journey. The next episode will surely add more laughter, insight, and companionship to our ongoing narrative, for in the amphitheater of Stoicism, every seat is a vantage point for wisdom, and every voice adds to the chorus of community. As the kitchen lights brighten and the camera focuses on a characteristically austere yet surprisingly cozy kitchen set, we're welcome to a new episode of Stoic Eats, a fare of virtue. Our host, a spirited chef known as Gaius Simplicius, dons an apron emblazoned with the words "moderation is my secret ingredient." With a warm yet disciplined smile, Gaius waves a wooden spoon like a wand as he introduces today's culinary adventure, the Stoic diet, mind over platter. Good day, aspiring culinary sages. In today's episode, I'll be your guide through the flavors of self-control, and we'll learn to whip up a dish that Plato himself would approve of. A mind control meal that'll leave your taste buds ennobled and your cravings conquered, Gaius exclaims, with a dramatic flair worthy of the theater. We'll begin with our base ingredient, Gaius continues, holding up a simple loaf of bread. This humble bread, unadorned and straightforward, represents the core of Stoic sustenance. Simplicity, no extravagant toppings or sweet spreads. It's the staff of life, and it teaches us to appreciate the plain yet profound pleasures. Next, Gaius presents a small bowl of olives. Ah, the olive. A symbol of peace and a hearty staple. This, my friends, is where we add a touch of zest to our diet, but with the self-restraint of a Stoic who knows that even the smallest indulgence must be measured and meaningful. Eyes Gaius chops a modest selection of leafy greens with precision. He interjects a classic Stoic quip. Remember, it's not the lettuce that makes the salad virtuous. It's how you toss it with the temperance of a philosopher king. To dress the greens, Gaius chooses a simple blend of oil and vinegar. And this dressing, he adds with a wink, is like the Stoics' answer to life's ups and downs. The oil is smooth and mellow, representing our calm amidst chaos, while the vinegar's sharpness reminds us of life's inevitable piquancy. Together, they balance out in a dance of equanimity. Gaius then turns to face the camera squarely, adopting the gravitas of a senator addressing the Roman Forum. In crafting our Stoic plate, we embrace a diet of moderation, conscious choices, and resilience. It's not about indulging the senses, but about feeding the soul and sharpening the mind. Our gastronomic quest is not for pleasure alone, but for sustenance in service of self-mastery. Finally, we pair our meal with a cup of water, pure, refreshing, and humbly hydrating. A Stoic reminder that in its simplicity lies the greatest satisfaction. Gaius proclaims, raising the glass with reverence typically reserved for the finest of wines. As he arranges the spread on a wooden platter with aesthetic minimalism, Gaius Simplicius offers a closing reflection. What we have before us is a feast that Epictetus would eat with relish, Seneca with serenity, and Aurelius with aplomb. It's not about the quantity on the plate, but the quality of our intentions that truly nourishes us. Gaius takes a final approving look at his creation, as if sealing it with the Stoic virtue of approval. This, my fellow philosopher, chefs, is the Stoic diet, where each bite is a meditation, each sip a reflection, and every meal a recommitment to the art of living well with less. If today's episode of Stoic Eats has provided you with both culinary and philosophical fulfillment, please honor the show with a thumbs up, and do share your own Stoic recipes in the comments section, for we all feast on the wisdom we share in this symposium of sustenance. And with that, Gaius Simplicius bids farewell, inviting viewers to return for more Stoic culinary delights. Join us next time on Stoic Eats, where we continue to dine with discipline, laugh with Lucullus, and savor each moment with the zest of Zeno. Until then, may your pantry be stocked with virtue, and your appetite for life insatiable. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage of life, where tonight's performance is all about humor as a Stoic tool. Buckle up, because we're diving into the hearty laughs of the Stoics, which, believe it or not, aren't an oxymoron. So, let's unravel this Stoic secret with a smile. Now, if you thought Stoicism was all about stern faces, furrowed brows, and living life like it's one long tax audit, I'm here to flip that script harder than a pancake on a Sunday morning. Stoicism is like the comedians of philosophy. It teaches us to laugh in the face of adversity because, let's face it, sometimes life is the setup, and you've just got to deliver the punchline. Take Epictetus, for example. He was a former slave who became one of the greatest philosophers. You think he didn't crack a joke or two about his chains? You can bind my legs, but you'll never put my sense of humor in shackles? And Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, faced with more backstabbers than a Caesar's palace convention, yet he wrote in his journal, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." I guess disco was just too simple for the old Stoic shuffle. But seriously, humor is a tool in the Stoic toolbox right next to resilience and self-discipline. It's the Swiss Army knife that's also a hoop cushion. Because when life hands you a lemon, the Stoic makes lemonade and then points out the absurdity of squeezing fruit for entertainment. You know you've mastered Stoic humor when you can look at a traffic jam and laugh at the symphony of honking horns. It's like an orchestra of road rage, conducted by the maestro of madness. And let's not forget about the Stoic practice of visualizing the worst-case scenario. I mean, who doesn't love starting their day thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong? It's like mental disaster bingo. Oh, look, I've got a missed alarm and spilled coffee. Just need accidental reply. All for the win. But here's the thing. Stoics use humor as a way to create distance from their troubles. It's like they're stepping back and saying, is this really worth getting upset over? It's turning life's drama into a sitcom, where you're the lead who always gets the last laugh. And that's the beauty of it, folks. So, next time you're feeling overwhelmed, remember the Stoic way. Take a breath, find the funny, and keep on chuckling. After all, if you can laugh at it, you can survive it. And that's our comedy routine for tonight. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and share. Your support is like a hearty Stoic handshake. Firm, meaningful, and only slightly awkward. Drop a comment with your best Stoic joke, or just tell me about the last time you laughed in spite of life's curveballs. Stay tuned for more wisdom wrapped in wit, and remember, in the grand theater of life, the Stoics are the ones sipping on reason, wearing togas made of resilience, and cracking jokes while Rome burns. Because at the end of the day, it's not just what you endure, but how you endure it. With a grin, a giggle, and maybe a snort or two. Good night, and may your philosophy be as light-hearted as it is profound. Ladies and gentlemen, influencers of the digital age, and seekers of wisdom with a Wi-Fi connection, welcome to the most anticipated event of the year, the tech-savvy Stoic product launch. Now, if you're expecting the latest smartphone or a new gadget that promises to do everything but make your bed, well, you're in for a philosophical plot twist. Today, we unveil an array of modern tools designed not to clutter your existence, but to declutter your mind, all while keeping your Stoic virtues as polished as your screen's retina display. Without further ado, let's introduce our first revolutionary product, the Mindful Scrolls. Imagine a tablet, but not the kind you swipe. No, friends, the kind you unfurl. The Mindful Scrolls are digital parchment, or e-parchment, if you will, that display daily Stoic quotes to keep your spirit grounded and your focus sharp. No distractions, no notifications, just pure, undiluted wisdom from the ancients, optimized for the 21st century. With each unrolling, you're not just scrolling, you're evolving. You're not just scrolling, you're evolving. One Stoic soundbite at a time. But wait, there's more. Introducing the Reflection Responder, the smart mirror that doesn't just show your external reflection but reflects your inner self. Before you head out to conquer the world, the Reflection Responder challenges you with a Stoic question. What virtue will you embody today? And as you ponder, it offers a suite of Stoic exercises to prime your mind for the day ahead. This isn't your average vanity. It's sanity with a touch of tech. And for those moments when the world seems to spin faster than a fidget spinner at a boredom convention, we present to you the Stoic Sphere, a sleek, spherical device that sits on your desk, gently glowing in ambient colors to remind you to breathe, to pause, and to embrace the present moment. Sync it with your Reflection Responder for a synchronized serenity session, and watch as your workplace becomes a sanctuary of Stoic calm. Now, let's talk mobile apps. We know the tech-savvy Stoic is always on the go, juggling duties with the dexterity of a circus performer. That's why we're launching Stoic Syncs, the app that harmonizes your calendar with the wisdom of the ancients. It not only schedules your appointments but syncs them with Stoic reminders to help you navigate your day with mindful intention. Missed that bus? Stoic Sync will chime in, remember. It's not the delay but your response to it that matters. And because every launch needs its showstopper, we unveil Virtual Reality, the groundbreaking VR experience that plunges you into historical scenarios to test your Stoic mettle, face a virtual version of the Battle of Thermopylae, and choose your actions based on courage and wisdom. Engage in a simulated Senate debate to practice your justice and moderation. It's not just virtual reality, it's Virtual Reality. So, there you have it, folks. The tech-savvy Stoic lineup designed to sync seamlessly with your life and soupy up your Stoic practice. If these modern marvels have sparked your Stoic curiosity, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below on which tool you'll be adding to your philosophical arsenal. Remember, as we embark on our tech-enhanced Stoic journeys, let's not forget the ancient wisdom at the core of it all. A clear mind, a virtuous heart, and a healthy dose of humor to keep things in perspective. Until next time, stay wise, stay connected, and stay Stoic. And who knows, maybe next year we'll have an app that actually makes your bed. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts and prepare for a thrilling ride on the Monopoly board of life as we present the grand premiere of our game show, Financial Stoicism, the Monopoly of Virtue. It's here that we marry the age-old wisdom of Stoicism with the strategic twists and turns of money management, all within the playful spirit of our all-time favorite board game. Join us as our contestants navigate through the highs and lows of fiscal fortune, learning to embody Stoic principles in the realm of riches and resources. Let's roll the dice and begin our enlightening journey around the board. Passing Joe isn't just about collecting $200. It's about accumulating wisdom on how to approach wealth with a balanced mind. Our first stop, Mediterranean Avenue. As we land on this humble sapphire blue property, we're reminded of Epictetus's counsel. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Here, contestants are challenged to make decisions that reflect contentment over covetousness, to invest in assets that truly matter, not merely in those that glitter with momentary allure. Next up, the electric company. It's all about utility and practicality. Like the Stoics who teach us to use reason as our guiding light, players must discern the best investments that yield consistent, long-term benefits. Will you fall for the siren song of speculative stocks? Or will you illuminate your financial path with the steady glow of bonds and dividends? As the game progresses, watch as our players face the dreaded chance and community chest cards. Much like the unpredictable twists of fate, these draw cards can bestow unexpected boons or impose taxing trials. Fortune is like the market. Sometimes she brings high prices. Sometimes she buys at a bargain, quips our show's charismatic host. Contestants must embrace each outcome with equanimity, learning to greet profit and loss with the same serene smile. Beware the income tax and luxury tax spaces. Here lies the Stoic exercise of voluntary discomfort. Just as Seneca advised to periodically practice hardship, so too must our players anticipate and adapt to these financial hiccups, training themselves to remain undisturbed even when parting with their hard-earned cash. As we round the corner to the glittering greens of Pennsylvania Avenue, the titan among properties, players are reminded that in Stoicism, as in wealth, self-mastery reigns supreme. Whether you're building a real estate empire or navigating the vicissitudes of the stock market, the true measure of success is not in the riches amassed, but in the virtues displayed: moderation, prudence, and the joy of generosity. In the final rounds, the contestants find themselves amidst the perils of Pacific Avenue, faced with a temptation to leverage to the hilt and risk it all. It's a moment that calls for the courage of Cato and the discernment of Diogenes, prompting players to remember that the Stoic is as cautious with debt as with desire, for both can enslave even the freest of spirits. As the game concludes, our contestants learn that the practice of financial stoicism is less about the balance in their bank accounts and more about the balance in their souls. It's a reminder that true wealth comes from living in agreement with nature, where richness is found in virtue, and the ultimate capital is the currency of character. So, if you're ready to become a financial high roller with the wisdom of Zeno and the wits of a Wall Street wizard, hit that like button with the gusto of a bull market rally. Share your Monopoly memories and money management musings in the comments below. Whether you're a thrifty Thoreau or a lavish Lucullus, we'd love to hear your approach to the monetary game of life. Join us next time on Financial Stoicism, the Monopoly of Virtue, where we continue to blend ancient philosophy with modern economics, proving that when it comes to wealth, it's not just about the money you make, but the mindfulness you master. Until then, roll the dice with dignity, pass go with grace, and may your journey around the board be as prosperous as it is prudent. Ladies and gentlemen, philosophers across the ages, fasten your seatbelts as we embark on a journey unlike any other. Welcome to the Stoic Time Traveler, a skit that whisks us through the annals of time, exploring how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism equips us to navigate the ever-changing tides of existence. So grab your temporal passports and let's punch in the coordinates for an adventure that transcends epochs. Our scene begins in the study of our protagonist, Marcus Temporus, an aficionado of antiquity with a peculiar penchant for horology and history. Surrounded by clocks of all shapes and sizes, Marcus tinkers with his latest invention, the chrono chariot, a time machine that promises to carry one's consciousness through the centuries. With a spark of electricity and a twirl of his toga, Marcus exclaims, "Today, we conquer not just the present but the future and the past." As Marcus activates the chrono chariot, the room swirls with the colors of a temporal maelstrom, the hands of every clock spinning wildly. With a flash, he's whisked away, his stoic expression unwavering amidst the temporal turbulence. "Change is the only constant," he mutters, quoting Heraclitus as the centuries stream by like the waters of a relentless river. His first stop, the future, a world unrecognizable, with sky towers that brush the heavens and chariots that fly without horses. The people here seem anxious, their eyes glued to screens, consumed by news of change both promising and perilous. Marcus, channeling his inner Seneca, approaches a young native saying, "Fortune smiles upon us with innovations aplenty, but tell me, do these wonders bring peace to your heart?" The native, bewildered by the question, confesses, "Peace is a rare commodity, traveler. We chase the new, yet fear it, for every dawn brings uncertainty." Marcus nods, sagely replying, But as the Stoics teach us, it is not the unknown we must fear, but the known we fail to question. Embrace change as a friend, for it is but the universe's way of offering fresh canvases for the virtues we wish to paint." With another flicker of the chrono chariot, Marcus finds himself in the past, amidst the decline of empires and the rise of new eras. The people here are resilient, their faces etched with the resolve to rebuild and renew. Marcus, standing amidst the rubble of an ancient forum, declares, "As the Stoic phoenix rises from the ashes of adversity, so too shall you rise from these ruins, with fortitude and foresight." A local sage, observing this stranger's equanimity, inquires, "Who are you, who speaks of rising when all around us falls?" Marcus smiles, replying, "I am but a traveler from another time, where the Stoic's legacy endures." They teach us that every ending heralds a beginning, and that in the cyclical dance of time, the wise find rhythm rather than resistance. As the chrono-chariot's energy wanes, Marcus prepares for his return to the present. He imparts one last pearl of Stoic insight before his departure. Remember, through all the ages, the Stoic's compass remains the same. Virtue. It is the anchor in the storm of change, the star that guides us through the Odyssey of time. Back in his study, Marcus Temporus emerges from the time travel escapade with a reaffirmed belief in Stoicism as a bridge between epochs. He addresses the audience. Whether past, present, or future, change is the saga we all share. Yet with the Stoics as our timeless companions, we can traverse the continuum with courage and clarity. If this time travel skit has sparked a light of recognition within you, navigate your way to that like button and press it with the assurance of a Stoic sage. Share in the comments your own reflections on change and how Stoic teachings help you face the future with confidence. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the boundless realms of philosophy, where the wisdom of yesteryears lights the path for tomorrow. Until our next temporal rendezvous, remember that the Stoic time traveler always sets the dial to virtue, the true constant amidst the flux of ages. Ladies and gentlemen, philosophers of the present and architects of the mind, join me today in a unique songwriting session that transcends mere melody. Together, we're going to craft the soundtrack of our souls, composing not just tunes, but timeless Stoic mantras to enrich our daily lives. So tune your instruments and prepare to harmonize with the wisdom of the ancients as we create our own Stoic mantras. Let's start with the chorus, the heart of our soul, where repetition imprints wisdom upon our hearts. Picture yourself facing the day's challenges as we sing, accept and adapt, for life's in flux. With virtue as my guide, I stand robust. This catchy refrain reminds us that, like the steady flow of a river, life is constantly changing, and our resilience lies in navigating its currents with grace and flexibility. Verse 1 begins gently, with a melody that speaks of morning light and fresh starts. Here, our Stoic mantra is a whisper of encouragement. Arise with the sun, with purpose anew, embrace the day's tasks, to thine own self be true. As the day unfolds, let this verse be the wind in your sails, the silent affirmation that propels you forward with intention and authenticity. With the bridge, we build the momentum, infusing our song with the thrill of anticipation. The mantra here is a call to bravery, a Stoic battle cry when fate's winds blow fierce. I shall not sway, for courage is my anchor come what may. Let these words bolster your spirit as you face the tempests of life, knowing that inner strength is your unwavering bastion. Verse 2 delves deeper, exploring the interplay between desire and contentment. Desire not what's beyond your reach, find wealth in simplicity, that's the Stoic speech. This couplet, sung with heartfelt sincerity, serves as a gentle reminder that happiness is not found in the excess, but in the essential. The simple joys that abound when we look within now. The bridge crescendos, soaring towards the zenith of our Stoic anthem. Memento mori, we chant passionately, live mindful of death and life's full symphony. This potent phrase, chanted with the vibrancy of life itself, encourages us to embrace our mortality, to live each day with purpose, and to savor the preciousness of every note in life's grand composition. As we round off our Stoic song, the outro carries us into the serenity of evening. Softly we repeat, as stars high above, may wisdom shine through, guiding each step, Stoic and true. An evocative image that calms the soul, guiding us through the night until we rise again, ready to hum our Stoic mantra with the dawn. So, my fellow melody makers and seekers of serenity, if our Stoic songwriting session has struck a chord within you, let your appreciation echo in the halls of time by hitting that like button. Share your own Stoic mantras or lyrical musings in the comments below. Together, let's carry our Stoic mantras in our hearts, like a beloved refrain that never fades, guiding us through life's rhythm with the steadfast beat of virtue. Stay tuned for more sessions where wisdom and whimsy waltz hand in hand, and until then, let the music of Stoicism play on in the symphony of your soul. As the sun dips below the horizon and our Stoic journey nears its end, let's take a moment to Look back at the mental dojo we've traversed together. We've armed ourselves with the timeless strategies of Stoicism, the ancient philosophical art that transforms us into mental ninjas, ready to face life's challenges with a calm mind and a sharp wit. From mastering the art of perception, befriending obstacles, and casting our emotions thoughtfully, to pressing the ever-important pause button, we've learned that the essence of Stoic mind control is not to suppress, but to understand, not to overpower, but to navigate with skill and insight. Our inner landscape is like a wild garden, and Stoicism has handed us the tools to tend to it, pruning the unruly thoughts and nurturing the resilient blooms of wisdom. With each Stoic practice, we've edged closer to the serenity of a well-kept mind, where each thought is cultivated with intention, and each action resonates with purpose. So take these Stoic strategies into your life, my philosophical friends. Apply them daily as you would sharpen your favorite sword, each stroke a step towards greater mindfulness, and each challenge an opportunity to practice your newly honed skills. Remember, the Stoic journey doesn't end here. It's an ongoing path of growth, a lifelong practice where the mind is both the student and the master. With every sunrise comes a new chance to apply the Stoic virtues of courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom to the canvas of your life. And as we conclude this chapter, I invite you to become mental ninjas of the Stoic order, to wield the sword of understanding, don the armor of resilience, and move through life with the stealth and grace that only a true Stoic can manifest. If today's exploration of Stoicism has sparked a fire within you, if you feel ready to leap into action with the agility of a mental acrobat, then let's hear a resounding cheer. Smash that like button as a warrior would in triumph. Share your own tales of Stoic mind control in the comments, and become part of a community that thrives on mutual support and shared wisdom. Dear viewers, our saga may pause here, but your story is just beginning. Carry the Stoic flame into the twilight and beyond, and let the world marvel at the strength of your controlled and composed mind. Until we meet again in the grand Colosseum of life, walk the Stoic path with pride, and let your mind control be the ultimate display of inner strength and philosophy in action.